Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell like this video. That helps me to keep making videos, and I'd appreciate it majorly. It's an awful story. It's terrible. This young lady, she's 19 years old. Her name's Alana Cutland. It says that she died earlier this month, so I assume it's a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, but it's just being reported now. And the manner in which she died is it's just awful. She leapt from a plane. It's a light aircraft, a Cessna light aircraft. There was only three people in the airplane, and the pilot, her, and another passenger. In the Sun here, it describes the incident from the passenger who was attempting to try to stop her from doing it, and tried as hard as she could. After about 10 minutes of taking off, or 5 minutes in taking off from an island in West Africa, Madagascar, and the place where she took off from was Anjajavi, which is located right there. There's Madagascar on the east coast of Africa, an island nation, where she went for, it's said like as an internship to study like some kind of strange seabed crab, but she really was doing it completely on her own research. She was self-funding it. It wasn't like she was doing it for the school, which she attended Cambridge, which I believe is a fairly, good university. But she was there on her own, and I believe she was supposed to be there for 5 or 6 weeks. That was the intended stay, but left after only, I think, 8 days. And while she was there, I think she suffered, I'm just paraphrasing from the various reports, like 5 separate paranoia attacks. And I think she was in constant contact with her parents at home. And at some point, I think they all decided it was best for her to fly back home. And in this flight, like I said, after 5 minutes after taking off, she tried to jump out of the airplane, and the other passenger did everything that she could to try to stop her, but couldn't hang on. And at some point, she was successful in doing it, and she just leapt to her death, fell over 3,600 feet into, I think, a remote jungle of the island. I think it's called the Savannah, if I got it right. I'll probably get to it in the report. And it's very possible they've been searching for her body since, and they haven't found her. It was over earlier in the month, so it's very possible they never will recover her body because of the wildlife in that area, many predators, etc. It's just unbelievable. And I'll read the account of in a second here. Attractive young girl who I'm sure was suffering from some kind of mental illness. I don't know, but that would be a logical conclusion, I think. And that's the aircraft. I don't think that's a specific aircraft, but that's the make of the aircraft that she jumped out of. So, and that photo right there looks to me to be the actual aircraft. With the looks like airline employees or employees of the airport sort of inspecting the door. But I don't know that for a sec. Madagascar, actually, it is. Madagascan police recreate Alana's final moments while investigating her death. That's got to be the actual aircraft, I would think. In any event, let me just when you read the account of it from the other passenger, who I think's name is Ruth Johnson, who was trying to do everything she could to stop, and the plane literally, because the pilot is watching this go on and is probably trying to help but can't because he's flying the plane, the airplane going back and forth as the other passenger's trying to stop her from jumping out of it. It's just hard to believe. So Alana Cutland, 19 years old, fell over 3,600 feet from the Cessna light aircraft during a flight back from a remote lodge where she was studying a rare species of crabs. Investigators said the student suffered 5 paranoia attacks while on the failed research trip, which she funded herself. Alana is understood to have fought off fellow passenger, Brit tourist Ruth Johnson, who had battled to try and keep her in the aircraft for several minutes. The tiny propeller plane was rocking through the air as Ruth, the only other passenger, and the pilot grappled onto Alana's leg in a bid to stop her death plunge. But local cops said the 19-year-old managed to free herself from their exhausted grip high above the Paradise Indian Ocean island, falling into the wild savanna below. Cops and locals have been trying to find her body in the remote Analava region, but fear they will never find her due to the remote location. They had recreated the horrifying flight after taking statements from Miss Johnson and the pilot. The passenger desperately clung to Alana's leg before she let go through exhaustion around 15 minutes after takeoff on July 25th. Okay, so it was July 25th. So it's not. It's not. It was only about a week ago, 6 days ago. The Cessna C-168 aircraft was taking off from Ajajavi with 3 people aboard, including Miss Johnson, Alana, and the pilot. After 10 minutes of flight, Alana undid her seatbelt and unlocked the right door of the plane and tried to get out. Miss Johnson fought for 5 minutes trying to hold her, but when she was exhausted and out of breath, she let go. Alana then intentionally fell from the aircraft at 1130 meters above sea level, which is about 3,600 feet, if I got that right. She dropped into a zone which is full of carnivorous fossa felines. Alana had been due to stay on the research trip for 6 weeks, but cut it short after 8 days. After speaking to her parents, Allison and Neil Cutland, both 63. Yesterday, her parents paid tribute to their daughter. They're asking for privacy and so forth. She was due to be flying home when she plunged from the small plane. The conclusion of their investigation was that it was an intentional fall and that they were working with British authorities who were speaking to her family. As well as the reconstruction, local police have interviewed management at the hotel, Miss Johnson and the pilot, and searched Alana's luggage. They have also read through her documents and messages. The victim is a student who has failed on research work and was asking for a lot of moral support. There's a language barrier, I believe, between the African authorities, the African nation of Madagascar authorities, and sort of this article. I mean, as I was reading through it, that's kind of how I saw it. She had personally financed her research and had suffered a paranoia attack 5 times. Her stay in Madagascar was interrupted. Instead of 6 weeks, she was there for 8 days. The witness claimed that Alana had difficulty managing her private life and her research. She was in regular contact by email with her parents, to whom she receives moral support. She did not handle her stress as well. On Miss Johnson's departure day, Alana's parents agreed that Alana should interrupt her research fly with Miss Johnson. Today, a pal described Alana as beautiful inside and out. They said she was amazing, one of the most beautiful and pure girls I've ever known inside and out. The whole thing has been a nightmare for her family and friends back home in the UK. We knew she was getting some sort of plane trip last week to study the seabed on a neighboring island, but then contact went dead and we started to fear the worst. So yeah, it's just unbelievable, and it's obviously terribly, terribly sad, and that's pretty much the story there. However, it also claimed that Alana and her parents had several intense and agitated discussions on the phone in the days leading up to her death. It is feared that her body may never be found after it landed in an area filled with carnivorous wild animals. Alana's family say they are heartbroken at the loss of our wonderful and beautiful daughter, who lit up every room she walked into. She was in the country for a university research trip to complement her studies, and one other passenger was in the aircraft with her, along with the pilot. I don't believe that's true. I believe she solely went on. The internship is understood to have been undertaken privately and was not a Cambridge University study trip. Right. Alana's family have asked for privacy following her death. It's just unreal. And that is the story there, man. That is the story there. All right, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I will see you in the next video. Later, man.